This is Joel over here, and in previous episode we have seen what is fetch API and how to fetch the API from the endpoints and all those stuffs we have seen. And this is a 14th episode of a React series, and in this episode we will be looking into what is error handling and how we can proceed with error handling with our own custom errors over here. Okay, so let's start the episode. So here in previous episode we have just stopped over here. First I'll just start the React. I didn't start it. Okay, so npm run dev. Okay, my React has been started and this is the page. It's empty because we didn't still load any JSON URL over here. We have to load this thing, right, to make the cards visible. Okay, so before this, actually this is an error. The white screen is an error because we didn't get anything from our server because we didn't run a server itself. So if we just go to our console and if we check over here, you can see it got failed to load resources, type error, failed to fetch. All these errors have been visible over here. Actually this is an error. You have to handle this error. So the error is been visible in console, but while developer can go and check in console, but whereas a user doesn't have an idea to go to console, right? So we have to make this error visible in our web UI. Okay, that's our error handling over here. We have to show these errors in the web UI over here. So let's see how to show these and all. So here we are going to use a concept called catch. Basically in other languages, if you have gone through error handling, we have try catch and all those things, right? So we are going to use this catch block over here to catch this error and to showcase over here. Let's see how to do that. So this is the use effect, right? We are just getting it, and here we are just fetching the details and we're just storing in response and all these things are happening, but we didn't start a server yet. So React can't fetch the API over here. So during this case, we have to show an error, right? So what I'm gonna say is dot catch an error. It's a method over here. So let me align this properly so that it will be easy for you guys to look it. Okay, yeah. So fetch, and we're just using dot then to get the response and convert it to JSON and return to data, and using data we are just setting the cards over here. So now dot catch is a method. We are gonna catch the error. So inside dot catch we have to write the arrow function, which is uh, getting an error over here. So I'm getting an error as an argument. So error is nothing but these errors. These errors will be stored in this error. I mean this error is nothing but this error. Both are same. We are not storing into a separate variable. We are getting those error using this reserved keyword, you can say. Okay. This error is being taken, and what we are going to do is dot console, just uh, we'll just try to print it in console and check dot error. So now you can see we are getting some errors over here. Actually this was the error which console gave, and these errors are the one which we printed in our console thing. Okay, so instead of this, let's print error dot message. Okay, it will just show what's the error. That's it. You can see failed to fetch. In previous case it showed type error, failed to fetch, and where the error has occurred. All these things is being shown over here, but a normal user doesn't want these things, right? A normal user wants fail to fetch. This error is more than enough for them. So now here instead of this, I'll just give error dot message. So now you can see fail to fetch. Now we have to show this fail to fetch in our web UI over here. Okay, so how this can be done? First I'll just create a state variable const. Okay, and I'll just set error comma set error. Okay, okay, I have made a mistake, which is error is equal to, okay, is equal to use state. I'll just give it as null as first. Okay, we have just created a error state variable and we have assigned null values to it. Let me hide this so that we will get so much of space over here. Okay, so now using this setter method, we will just set this error message to this error. So set error and error dot message. Okay. So we are setting this error message to this error. Now this error will have this particular message over here. And you can just ask a question that why we are using setter method over here. I have given the answer in our previous questions, because we are using empty dependency list over here, so that this use effect will be run only once. It won't enter into a infinite loop over here. So you can use setter method over in this case. Whereas without this dependency, if we enter a setter method, it will enter into a infinite loop over here. Make sure of this alone. Okay, so we are just setting the error message to this error. Okay, to display this, where we can display, so this is the if part we have used, right? So this is the if part is used while these cards are empty. We are just telling to show these kinds of HTML tags in our React page. Right now these are empty fragments. We'll just write the HTML codes over here to showcase the error over there. So this is the place where we can write, because not cards is because null. If the cards are null, show this. So until we fetch the data, we have to show these things. So I'll just write it over here saying that p tag brackets error. That's it. Okay, p tags bracket error. And since it's multiple line, is good to go with brackets. Okay. So now if you go and check, you can see fail to fetch is been shown over here. So this fail to fetch and this fail to fetch are both are same over here. You're just printing this in our web UI. So this is one kind of error handling. Okay, now let's see the customizing our own error handling over here. This error is been shown by our console. We are just printing this error in our console, right? We didn't customize anything over there. Let's see how to customize it. So before that, I'll just run this local server also. I'll just copy this, open terminal, create new terminal, and paste this and give enter. Okay, now we got our endpoints. Now our server got run. So now let's try. So it's working over here. Fine, everything goes good. So now if I have a wrong endpoints over here, let's say there's cards. I have included an yes over here, which is a wrong endpoint over here. What happens over here? So now if you check, we got unexpected token n. Not found is not valid JSON. This is quite easy for developers to understand, but a normal user can't understand what's the error this is. So we have to give a customized error where user can easily identify what's an error. So how to do this? It's very easy. Okay, so now here each time we are just printing this response, right? Console.log response and all these things. So if we go and check over here, we have all these details. So here you can see status 404, which is page not found error. Okay, status 404 is page not found error. Whereas even here you can see OK is false because we didn't get any data. So our OK is false over here. We have similar kind of errors, which is 200, which is OK, whereas 201 is OK created, and all those errors are there. We will just see later if we start our backend series over here. So right now understand OK is false and we got an status error of 404 over here. Okay, we are gonna use these two values and we are gonna customize our error over here. Let's see how to do that. So this is the place we are getting this response, right? So here what I'm gonna say is if response dot okay. What is if response dot okay? Which means true, right? But in our case it's false. So not response dot okay. If the response is not okay, then throw an error. What's the error? Let's say couldn't retrieve the data. So now if we check, we got our own customized error. Couldn't retrieve the data over here. So we are just checking if response is not okay. If response is false, then throw an error saying that couldn't retrieve the data. This is a simple throw thing, simple throw method which we have known in our JavaScript and other languages too. So be aware of these try, catch, throw, exception handling and all those concepts to get understand over here. So fine, we are just customize our own error over here. Okay, now all things are good. Fine. But here, let's make this proper. Okay. If I refresh it, you can see our JSON file is loading within a seconds because we have a React application as well as a JSON server in a same local host. So it doesn't take any time to load it, right? But usually when we are creating a project, we will have the JSON file in separate server, whereas a React application in a separate server, and React takes few minutes of time or few seconds of time to get those JSON files from those particular server and to display in our rendered UI. Is it right? Right. So during those times, we have to give some loading animations or loading thing. We have to convey the user that wait, I'm just loading it. Once the loading is happened, you can just get the details. So since here, what happens, we have this JSON and React in a same local server. Whatever you just do, it won't show loading at all. I mean, it won't get delay at all because both are in same server. So to demonstrate the loading concept, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delay this thing. So here in fetch, I'll just remove these things and all. So I guess these things won't need it. Fine. So now I'll just create a method which is, I'll just call a method which is set timeout. Even these things we have in JavaScript, and if you guys not aware of JavaScript, please do learn it and have it look over here. So set timeout. So I'll just cut this bracket and paste it over here. Fine. And here I'm gonna write an arrow function over here. Even this arrow function holds the whole fetch, then and catch. So I have created a set timeout. I have called the set timeout method, and I have created an arrow function. This arrow function will have this fetch method. I mean the fetch method dot then and the dot then catch, and all these things are inside this set timeout. Now after this, I'm just passing an argument saying that delay of 1000 milliseconds, you can say. So first argument is nothing but the function, arrow function over here. So second thing is, oh my god, okay, so the second thing is I'm just giving 1000, which is 1000 milliseconds of delay. So now if you check, it takes some time to showcase the cards over here. You can see it takes 1000 milliseconds of delay to showcase over time. So this what will happen if you have the JSON file and your React application in different servers. So during this time, we have to show the users that we are loading the page, right? So how can this be done? Same way, all these things will happen inside this if block. So here in return statement, I'll just give this p tag, uh, saying that, okay, I didn't give t over here. Okay, loading something. Okay, so now if you just check, it shows loading over here in top. You can see loading has been shown over here. Okay, fine, we have just shown this loading, but still we have this error, right? Because let's say, uh, I'll just open this terminal and I'll just close this local host of this JSON package. So now if you just check, it shows both loading as well as fail to fetch, but this both can't be happen simultaneously, right? So we have to show either one. If it's loading, then we have to show loading. If it's fail to fetch, then loading should be replaced with fail to fetch. Okay, these things should be handled right now. So how to do this? Let me go to this if part. So here I'm just gonna give error ampersand ampersand and a p tag. Okay, a p tag, and then saying it error over here. Wait, I have made a mistake. Not in this manner. I'll just write it properly. Error, ampersand, ampersand, p tag, and then I have to show this, right? Which I have to show this error. I should show error. So I'll just remove this. So now let's check. Okay, so right now we have just given if error. This is a conditional rendering which we have seen in our conditional rendering episode. Instead of giving this if else block, we can just use this ampersand. If both are uh, true, then you just show this in our render UI. That's our concept over here. So this is okay, fine. For loading, still loading is been occurring over here. Loading and fail to fetch both are happening, right? So we have to fix this. Same concept. Instead of this, I'll just cut this and I'll just make it not error. Because while loading, we didn't get any error, right? So during not error, ampersand ampersand, then use this loading statement. So now let's try. You can see we are loading. If error is being fetched, we are just telling fail to fetch the error. You can see over here, loading, fail to fetch. So this is a normal concept, like if else. If you're not aware with conditional rendering, go and check our previous episodes of conditional rendering. I have explained it properly over there. So this is the thing we can do over here, handling the loading part. Fine. Almost every concept has been covered. One thing is pending, which is I have a GIF file over here. In assets folder, I have a loading GIF. I'll just tell you how to use this loading GIF in our web page. Instead of showing loading over here, we will just use this animation over here. So it's very simple. Actually, GIF is a kind of images only. So tag image, and here src, which is source, and in assets folder we have this loading GIF. Right click and select copy with relative path. Okay, so why not copy path? Because copy path will copy the whole path, which is users, desktop, react application, assets folder, all these things will be copied. So once you run your project in your same computer, this will work. But whereas if you just move your project to other people or else other computer, it won't work, because you're just giving all this whole URL, I mean whole path from users, desktop and all those things. While you're moving your project from one computer to other computer, the user will be changed, the desktop will be changed, all these things will be changed. So React can't get the image from those kinds of path. So instead of that, if you just click on relative path, it just says where the particular image is being located in the particular project over here. So whatever you just move your project from one computer to other computer, your React will able to load the particular image over here. So it's better to go with copy with relative path over here. Okay, so now let's go and check. See, a loading animation has been used. So let me run this. Oh yeah, okay, fine. So I'll just refresh this. You can see we are just loading and getting the details over here. I know this loading is little awkward over here, but still I just use this to demonstrate how you can use the animations also in a React. Okay guys, that's it of this 14th episode of error handling, and hope you guys understood this concepts, I hope. So thank you for seeing this, and we'll just meet in our 15th episode of a React series. Until then, stay tuned. Thank you.